maybe Karina, you can give us some thoughts when we get to the evaluation section. We'd appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you. Hugh?
Thank you. Fellow Toastmaster guests, I have, let me start later. The reason why I chose to do this today, other than any other day, was because I actually we didn't have a speaker, number 2. So I said, wow, let's kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I have the pleasure of getting this award, and with this award is, they call it ALB, which is Advanced Leader Bronze. In order to get this award, you have to achieve Competent Leader Award and the CC, which is the Competent Communicator, which I already have that under my belt. And I'm also being served as an officer for at least 6 months, so I'm on my 4th month leave. And another thing is why I serve as an officer is wow. So this is where I figured I better do it now before my presidency ends. I have to participate in the sponsor club officer training, which I did. And the next thing is these last 2. This is my last PowerPoint. Conduct 2 presentations from one of these club series. Today, I chose the Successful Club Series, which is the Success Club Series, which is Meeting Roles and Responsibility. The reason why I picked this one was part of being a VP of Education, our responsibility is to make sure we fill all the roles. That's on major. Every single week, right after the meeting, I actually go into the agenda and look to see who, what role that we need to fill. And each role is very important, and we need them, we really do. So I thought this is a great opportunity for me to share some of the role, some of the experience that I have, and that hopefully the new officer, kind of prepare the new officer to see what they are getting into. So with that, next slide.
Oh, next. Sorry.
Thank you. Toastmaster. That is what Mark is doing. So anyone else know what a Toastmaster do? He's basically an MC. So he starts the meeting. Is there anything else that the Toastmaster do before the meeting, guys? Does anyone know?
To the agenda.
Okay. So what did you say, Jay?
Does the agenda?
Yeah. He does the agenda. Besides the agenda, he goes and he makes sure that this person, for example, if you are an evaluator, his responsibility is just as large because he makes sure that everyone has a role, all the roles filled. And he has to make sure that the evaluator know what he or she is evaluating. Not just filling in name. You really need to contact. You get with the grammarian to make sure that he has the word of the day and then enter that. So there's quite a few things that goes that he has to work on before the meeting can even start. Does anyone have any question on being a Toastmaster? Okay, can we go to the next one? Topic master. I'm going to read that one too today. This is my favorite. This is a section that basically is impromptu. I try to come up with things that are kind of like a little bit difficult to answer, or I try to something that so that people can't just have it in their mind and then they can't answer. So we try to make it fun but yet effective. Again, some of the, I don't know, can you, David? No, not David. Bobby. Yeah, Bobby.
Fine.
Can you share some experience on toast, topics that you like to always share, and how do you go about getting that topic?
Well, when to pick the topics or to actually do the thing?
Both.
Yeah, well, picking, I haven't done much picking. Some people have done, like Disney characters from their favorite movies. They've done, Q has done a bunch of things for, my daughter or son asked me this question, or some current events. We had this whole controversy over Deflategate in the NFL. Was that the Super Bowl? I can't remember. Anyway. So, just different topics. And then as far as doing the topic, the key thing is that you don't necessarily have to completely stay on topic. And it's nice to have sort of a beginning and a conclusion, but then you can kind of, divert from the topic a little bit.
So basically, that's what that is. Just for those of you who's a visitor, that is part of our regimen that we call people up here as Toast Topic Master, and we come up with some kind of question, and basically you got 1 to 2 minutes to answer the question, with a little quick beginning, body, and an ending. And it's a lot of fun. That's, I think, one of our favorite things to do in our club. Next is the speaker. I'm the speaker. And again, it takes a lot of preparation. I've been looking and figuring out when can I do this and what's appropriate. So that's really self-explanatory. I would urge you to start out with, an icebreaker, but once you do that, I'm still nervous. This morning, I had to deliver a speech, and I actually have words in this note. I actually can read it, and even then, I was very nervous. So, but it's practice. Speaking is always practice and practice. And I believe that if I wasn't in this club, I would never volunteer or even say, okay, I'll do it, since no one else, that person is not here. So I believe that speaking, again, is another practice that we do, which I think is really important, that we go up here once, every other month if you can, come up here, whether it's going to be topic, and if not, make a speech. And it could be anything from fact, or it could be fiction, or it could be anything that you experience currently or past. Any question on speaker? Next. General evaluator. That to me is the hardest job. General evaluator basically evaluate the whole meeting from beginning to end. And Toastmaster has it very easy where you can follow. When I do my general evaluator, I kind of not go to that because I kind of got used to it. I know if the meeting go on time, does it run smoothly? Is there any other thing that I missed? Elliot?
I'd say general evaluator, along with what you mentioned, will also provide the feedback as to what they see, what they experienced. For example, if there were any interruptions, they could say, okay, maybe going forward we can turn off our phones. Or if there's anything that we should address going forward, they could use that time to put in their input to help better the club going forward. And it's a really great, I'd also say alongside that, probably one of the more difficult decisions, but it's a great way to get a feel of all of the functions that goes on in one class.
Mm-hmm. And I would like to add to that, it also teaches you how to evaluate people effectively without getting them upset or defensive. So that's another culture of ours that I will cover later that we do. And so it gives you a chance to evaluate the entire group rather than just a person. Next. Speech evaluator. Similar to evaluating the whole entire meeting, this particular one is specific, it's mono, to the general evaluator. It's specifically to that speaker, what he did wrong, what he did right. And again, that's a second to the hardest function that I know. I'm not a very good, I thought I was a good evaluator, but we have very good speaker, like such as Elliot or Terrence, who deliver very good speech. So it's very hard to figure out, okay, what can he improve on? Because I really want to give a good feedback that he can learn from. So that's what a speech evaluator do. Does anyone have any question on that? Timer. Timer is a person that tells you you need to wrap it up short, so it's pretty easy. The problem with this is a lot of people tend to talk so long, and some people tend to talk too short. So basically, it gives you an idea, you know, it gives you a feeling of when you need to stop, when you don't. So I kind of like being a timer, because I feel like I'm in charge. All right, wrap it up, you know, it's time. But I think basically the idea is to make sure that, you know, you're not utilizing the whole entire meeting. Like, you know, I know you guys have a lot of meetings where there's just one person speaking and talking and talking. So that to me is great. I catch myself doing that a lot. So a lot of time I said, oh, okay, I'm wrapping it up, and you know, you guys have any question? Like right now, I'm wrapping that up and go to the next screen. Grammarian. Again, I love grammarian. I'm not very good at it because grammar I'm horrible at it. English is my second language. So for me, even getting up here to talk to you guys is hard. And then the idea that, oh my God, you know, maybe I add ED when I shouldn't, or S's when I should not, she, he, she, oh, it's crazy. My country, my language, he, she, we don't have ED, we don't add S's, so it's very hard for me. So as a matter of fact, when I come up here, when I talk, sometimes I'm translating as I'm speaking. So that's why it's difficult for us. But I feel like grammar is really good for me so that it projects how you are. And I think by being in this club, make me a better speaker, a better communication because of that. Eye counter. Again, similar to timer, eye counter is anything that, so far, I don't think I said, I think I do a lot of, I think, or like I do that a lot. I don't think I do a lot of which is kind of nice. But after a while, because of my regiment, now I'm going to the meeting and I hear a lot of ums. Do you guys do that? Mm-hmm. It is horrible. Sometimes I have to cover my ear because there's a lot of people that say every single word after the next word is I said, wow. I'm like, I never realized how it affects me in that way. Next. Okay, the next test, we can quickly time. This here we don't really use. I want to use this at time just to talk about etiquette. And that's one thing that we're getting, I think, a little loose on etiquette. When this, for Toastmaster, this is our stage. I own this for the next few minutes. So when someone introduces you, and you're going up here, make sure you shake your hand. That's very important, because that's basically exchanging, giving power to that person that's coming up here to mind the stage. In Toastmaster culture, we also say this is a stage. It gotta be watch. It can't be empty. It can't be, what's the word? It cannot be unwatched. That's the word. So basically, when you call on someone, make sure if you're gonna come up here, make sure you just shake your hand and then pass basically the baton to that person to be in this stage, and he will own that until you relieve it back to him. Another thing is, another thing I like to talk about is when you come up here, make sure, especially in the topic Toastmaster, a lot of times people go on one side or the other side of the room, or sometimes you lean. That is not our culture either. That's some etiquette that we need to really stand in the middle, and when you pass it on to another person, give it to him, and basically stand aside. So those are the two main things that I see that we don't do, and I like us to do that more often. Okay, next slide. As you know, club Officers, we just got new officers, so I thought I'd go through this really quickly about Sergeant of Arms, which is officers. Sergeant of Arms does a lot of things prior to the meeting. She sets up the table, she sets up the room. She makes sure we have all the evaluation form, and she just makes sure, and she also booked the room to make sure that we have a room to meet in. And what else do we do? Sergeant Arm.
Take the room back down.
Yeah.
At the end of it.
And she cleans up too.
Make sure that all the speech evaluations are out.
Who wants to do that?
Next, so that's what the Sergeant of Arms do. Next one. Yeah. President does everything. Wish she was here. President makes decisions. She holds clubs, officer meeting. What else does a president do, Elliot? Do you know, since you're going to be one?
Yeah, I'd say that the president would be the primary leader of working with the entire VP team. I would say that we would not be the one dictating who does what, but more so be the last person with the final vote and have the power of that little wooden gavel there, which is always the most important function of the president.
Thank you. Future president. Next. Vice President of Education, that's me. I do that, and it's a tough position. I think it's a position that you learn a lot. You learn the people. You greet all the new people. It's work that basically you're almost like mentoring. You get a new person and you basically talk to them and show them the road. How does the program work? Whether it's a communication track or is it the leader track? Those are the kind of thing that we talk about. How to achieve your goal. Getting mentor, if you need a mentor and mentee. Those are very important. Then also track all your goals. All the function that you do, all the speech that you do is being tracked, being recorded. It's pretty much almost everything. And like I said before, we also make sure that every meeting before that someone is going to be the Toastmaster, and you've got to make sure that that person, is in line with basically all the function that's going to be in that meeting. So you have to make sure, so every single week, you're playing a role, you're recruiting people, making sure everyone is on task with the next meeting agenda. Next. Vice President of Public Relations. Who's not here? Oh, she's not here either. Yeah, that's right, Chamber. Lauren is going to be, and basically what they do is, to me, it seems like marketing. They make sure the contests run smoothly. They make sure the advertisement of any kind of, what do you call that? Newsletter, all those things. Anything that has to do with marketing, that is what the Vice President of Public Relations does. Does anyone have any question or anything to add, like you guys, the officers that have been here, do you have anything to add to that? Okay, next. VP of Membership. I believe Karina, she does a great job at that. Basically, for us, because we're close clubs, so there's not a lot of recruiting when you go out and do all that. But she does have a lot of responsibility. Getting people as, when you have guests, she makes sure that the guest is being greeted. She makes sure that you get all the information about the club. She also, if there is new member that come on board, she also go through what all the function of how the meeting goes. Anything else? Did I miss anything? Pretty much. Yeah. All right, next, Secretary. Who's the Secretary? Oh, Stephanie. Stephanie does a great job. I know one of her main function is to make sure that she takes down whoever is here today. She makes sure that you guys are accounted for. She takes notes. What else do you do?
Track all of the share reports, and like I said, I keep them, I maintain all the minutes for all the officer meetings.
And, treasurer. Bobby?
Yeah.
Treasurer, I know when you're a treasurer, it's money.
Yeah.
He pays all our due, make sure the membership is getting paid. Is anything else? Is there
Yeah,
anything?
you know, with the treasurer, because we're at what's called a closed club, which means it's a company-sponsored club. The treasurer is more of a interface between the company and Toastmasters as far as paying for membership renewals or new members and anything we need, like our banner, things like that. So that's the main role of the treasurer, and then just kind of, you know, interface for the company and saying, well, this is our budget, and how we're estimating how much things will cost, that kind of thing.
Well, next slide. I want to leave you with these. In conclusion, coming together is a beginning, keeping together is a process, and working together is a success. So I hope I give you an insight of what our club is about for those who are guests. And for those who are still here, I give you a little bit more of a reminder, a little refresher of what we are all about, and hopefully we continue that culture. Thank you.
So, thank you, Q. I think that was a great